She had $11.47 left in her account. $11.47, and rent was due in 9 days. The camera holds on her face, early morning light, soft and unforgiving at the same time. Elena, 38 years old, standing in her kitchen in a suburb outside Columbus, Ohio. 2 kids still asleep down the hall. A stack of unopened envelopes on the counter, the kind that don't bring good news. You can see her breathe, just breathe, not crying, not panicking, something quieter than both of those things. Her jaw is set. Her eyes are fixed on a small handwritten notebook sitting beside the coffee maker. A notebook her grandmother gave her, old, soft-covered, with handwriting that smells like another century. She opens it, and what she finds inside, 26 habits written in faded ink, habits that women used to swear by, habits that got laughed at when credit cards and Amazon Prime and subscription boxes took over the world, would quietly change everything about the way she lived. Not overnight, not with a lottery win, not with a viral side hustle, just slowly, deliberately, like someone who finally decided that enough was enough. By the end of that year, Elena had saved over $14,000 on a single income with 2 kids, in a year when inflation hit everyday families harder than almost any year in recent memory. But what happened next, no one saw coming.
1 in, 1 out strict rule. The rule is almost embarrassingly simple. For every new item that enters your home, 1 item must leave. Elena started applying this to everything: clothes, kitchen gadgets, toys, shoes. What it did wasn't just reduce clutter. It forced her to pause before every single purchase and ask, is this worth giving something else up? That tiny moment of friction stopped dozens of impulse buys cold. She estimates this one habit alone saved her over $1,200 in the first year, just by slowing down the unconscious acquisition that modern retail is specifically designed to trigger.
Weekly window shopping only habit. Every Saturday morning, Elena let herself browse, online, in stores, wherever, but with one unbreakable rule: no buying. Window shopping only. This sounds counterintuitive. Why torture yourself? But Ruth's notebook explained it perfectly. Desire fades. A dress that feels essential on Saturday feels ordinary by Thursday. Elena started keeping a want list during these sessions. By the following week, she'd crossed off roughly 70% of it without any effort. What remained told her what she actually valued. This habit killed nearly $900 in annual impulse spending. Mindset shift. When fixing something feels better than buying new. The first real test came on a Wednesday evening in late January. Caleb's chair, the one at the kitchen table, the one he'd had since kindergarten, lost a leg, just snapped clean off. Elena's first instinct was immediate and automatic. Check Amazon. She had it open before she even looked at the chair. Then she stopped. She thought of the notebook. She closed the app. She went to the garage, found a bottle of wood glue she'd had for 3 years, and spent 40 minutes fixing the chair herself. She sanded it, she clamped it with 2 rubber bands and a heavy stack of textbooks. Caleb watched the whole thing, completely fascinated, asking questions she couldn't fully answer. That chair still stands today. That 40-minute repair cost her nothing. A replacement would have cost $80 to $120. The mindset shift wasn't just financial. It was something older, something that had quietly been lost somewhere between her grandmother's generation and hers. The deep, grounding satisfaction of making something last. Make do and mend for furniture and home items. Old-fashioned households operated on a simple conviction: things were meant to last. The make do and mend habit asks you to try fixing or repurposing before replacing, always. Elena applied this to Caleb's chair, a cracked picture frame, a wobbly bookshelf, and a bathroom cabinet door that had lost its hinge. Total cost of repairs? Under $15 in supplies. Total replacement cost would have been over $400. The deeper benefit is psychological. You start seeing your possessions differently. They become something you invest in, not something you cycle through. That shift alone is worth more than the money it saves.
Pin money, or small change jar. Ruth's notebook mentioned pin money, the old housewife practice of setting aside coins and small bills in a jar, quietly, consistently, without ceremony. Elena dusted off an old mason jar and put it on the kitchen counter. Every time she broke a bill, the change went in. Every time she found $1 in a coat pocket or at the bottom of her purse, it went in. By March, she had $73 saved without noticing. By December, the jar had collected $340. That money became her kids' school supply fund, paid entirely from coins that would otherwise have vanished into couch cushions.
Practical action, the subscriptions, the borrowing, and the seasonal secret. February brought its own pressures. Valentine's Day marketing flooded every screen, every store, every email inbox. Elena was immune to most of it by now, or at least she was building the muscle. But when she sat down with her bank statements and actually counted her monthly subscriptions, she went quiet for a long moment. Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, a meditation app she'd opened twice, a meal planning service she'd used for 1 month and forgotten, a music platform she shared with nobody, a cloud storage upgrade she didn't need, a new subscription she read on her phone's default app anyway. 8 subscriptions, combined $94 per month, $1,128 per year. She felt something land in her stomach that she could only describe as embarrassment. Not shame, embarrassment. The quiet kind you feel when you realize something obvious, too late, that you should have caught long ago. She made herself sit with that feeling. Then she opened the notebook again.
Strict subscription rotation. Instead of carrying multiple streaming or digital subscriptions simultaneously, Elena adopted a rotation system, one service at a time for 1 month at a time. She'd binge what she wanted, cancel, rotate to the next, cancel, rotate back. She cut her annual subscription cost from $1,128 down to $228, keeping only one service at a time and rotating quarterly. The kids adjusted faster than she expected. In 2026, with every platform competing for your monthly fee, this habit is more relevant than ever. The companies count on inertia. Rotation breaks that inertia completely. Borrow before you buy rule. Ruth's generation borrowed freely and without embarrassment. Power tools, party dishes, folding tables, camping gear. Elena reinstated this habit with a few phone calls. She borrowed a carpet cleaner from a neighbor instead of renting one, $60 saved. She borrowed Maya's friend's mom's sewing machine for a school project. She borrowed a ladder for a weekend paint job. The total value of borrowed items in her first year topped $600. The social benefit was unexpected too. Borrowing built real neighborhood connection, a thing that had quietly eroded in her suburb over years of keep-to-yourself living. Seasonal loss leader shopping calendar. Grocery stores and big-box retailers operate on predictable sales cycles. Certain products hit deep discounts at the same time every year. Canned goods in late fall, cleaning supplies post-holiday, baking products before Thanksgiving, grilling items after the 4th of July. Elena built a 12-month calendar based on her grocery store cycle, confirmed with a free app. She started stocking up on deeply discounted staples at the right moments, rather than buying at full price out of convenience. Her food and household staple bill dropped by roughly $1,100 in year 1 alone. External challenge: utilities, shoes, and the bill she almost missed. March. The utility bill came in, and it was again higher than she'd budgeted. The kids had started leaving lights on in every room they passed through. The furnace was running longer than it should. Elena called the utility company and sat on hold for 22 minutes, which she used to reorganize the pantry, and discovered she was on the wrong billing plan entirely. A quick switch saved her $34 per month going forward. Small, but real. Maya needed new sneakers. Elena felt the familiar pull, the instinct to just go get them, the nicest ones that weren't completely unreasonable because her daughter deserved them, and the guilt of single parenting has a way of expressing itself in shoes.
She understood that about herself now. She'd been understanding a lot of things about herself lately. She opened the notebook instead.
Use it up completely for toiletries and personal care. Ruth had a rule. Nothing gets replaced until it is truly, completely, unambiguously gone. No buying a new shampoo while there's still shampoo in the bottle. No new toothpaste until the old tube is rolled flat and squeezed dry. Elena tracked this for 1 month and discovered she'd been replacing toiletries at roughly 70% capacity out of boredom or marketing pull. Using products to genuine completion, cutting open lotion tubes, adding water to soap bottles, rolling toothpaste from the bottom, stretched her personal care budget by almost $50 per month. That's $600 per year from products she already owned. No new until old is worn out for shoes and accessories. Elena told Maya they were going to fix her current sneakers first, a tube of shoe glue and 15 minutes of effort, and they did. The shoes lasted another 4 months. When replacement time genuinely came, Elena bought 1 good pair instead of 2 cheaper ones. Ruth's notebook was emphatic on this point. Quality items worn to their end cost less per use than cheap items cycled rapidly. Applying this to shoes, bags, belts, and accessories, Elena reduced her family's footwear and accessory spending by $420 in the first year. Maya noticed and quietly started doing the same with her school supplies. Weekly bill audit habit. Every Sunday evening, Elena spent 15 minutes reviewing that week's charges against her bank statement and bills. What she found in the first month alone startled her. A gym she'd canceled but was still being charged for, $29 a month, a software subscription she'd forgotten about, $12 a month, and an insurance premium that had quietly crept up $18 from the previous year without notice. Total, $59 per month in charges she'd authorized once and forgotten. The weekly bill audit is the financial habit that nearly everyone skips, and it is almost always the most immediately rewarding one to start. Mid-month crisis, the unexpected bill, and the habits that held. April hit hard. The car needed a repair Elena hadn't budgeted for, $380 for a brake job that wasn't optional. She stared at the estimate for a long moment in the mechanic's waiting room, among the old magazines and the smell of motor oil, doing math in her head. 6 months ago, this would have gone on a credit card. The bill would have arrived at the end of the month and been paid in minimum installments for the next 4, accumulating interest, quietly growing, another weight added to a life that already carried too many. Instead, she paid from what she was starting to call her found money, savings from habits she was stacking month by month. It stung, but it didn't break her. That was new. Caleb asked that evening if they could go to the library. He'd heard about a new graphic novel series his friend had. Elena smiled in a way that surprised even her. Library first for entertainment and learning. Elena's local library had transformed since she last paid attention. Physical books, yes, but also digital loans through the Libby app, free museum passes, online learning platforms, film streaming through Canopy, and even seed libraries for home gardening. The kids started going weekly. Elena used the library for 2 online courses she'd wanted to take on budgeting and home maintenance, both free. The family's spending on books, courses, magazines, and entertainment apps dropped by over $600 in the year. And Maya and Caleb discovered, somewhat to their own surprise, that they loved being there. Repair reflex for electronics and small appliances. The toaster stopped working in May. Elena's instinct was trash and replace. Instead, she looked up the model on YouTube, found a 12-minute repair video, ordered a $7 replacement part, and fixed it in 20 minutes. It still works. The repair reflex, pausing before discarding any broken electronic or appliance to first check repairability, saved her from replacing a $65 toaster, a $40 electric kettle with a faulty switch, and a blender with a cracked lid. Total repair cost, $19. Total replacement cost, if she'd defaulted to new, over $200. This habit pairs perfectly with the library's free online access to repair guides. Cash only for non-essential spending.
Ruth's notebook was blunt on this one. Credit cards and tap to pay make money feel abstract. Cash makes it feel real. Elena designated categories, eating out, clothing, entertainment, personal treats, as cash-only spending zones. She withdrew a set amount each week for these categories, and when the cash was gone, it was gone. No exceptions. The physical act of handing over bills activated a part of her brain that swiping never did. Studies confirm what Ruth knew by instinct. People spend 20 to 30% less when using cash. For Elena, non-essential spending dropped by $170 per month in the first 3 months alone.
Bold behavioral shift, community, store brands, and waiting. The neighborhood swap was Elena's idea, or she thought it was, until she found it in Ruth's notebook under the words swap circle. Ruth had organized one with the women on her block back in the 60s. They swapped children's clothes, books, kitchen equipment, seasonal decorations. It had been community infrastructure, quietly disguised as practicality. Elena sent a message to the neighborhood Facebook group on a Tuesday evening. By Thursday, 12 families had responded. By the following Saturday, they'd gathered in someone's driveway with bags and boxes and something that felt unexpectedly warm, the recognition of shared struggle, the relief of not pretending otherwise. She came home with 2 bags of outgrown clothes in Maya's size, a bread maker in perfect condition, and a cast iron skillet that made her genuinely emotional. She left with 3 boxes of things her family had outgrown. Everyone went home lighter. Hand-me-down and swap network. The hand-me-down and swap network is one of the oldest economic systems in human history and one of the most efficient. Elena's neighborhood swap group grew to 30 families by summer. They swapped children's clothing seasonally, saving her $300 in kids' clothes alone, shared books and toys, passed along small appliances and sporting equipment. She also joined Buy Nothing groups online, where she sourced a bookshelf, a set of mixing bowls, and Caleb's Halloween costume. The estimated value of goods received through swapping and gifting networks in her first year topped $900. The social value was incalculable. No brand loyalty for household supplies. Elena had been brand loyal to things she couldn't even explain. A specific laundry detergent, a particular dish soap, a cleaning spray she'd used since college. She conducted a ruthless audit and switched every single household supply to the best value option, store brand, bulk, or generic equivalent. The results were quietly humbling. She couldn't taste or feel a difference in 90% of the categories. Her monthly household supply bill dropped from $140 to $88. Over 12 months, that's a $624 reduction. In 2026, with inflation touching every shelf in every store, brand loyalty is an expensive emotional habit that most budgets genuinely cannot afford. 30-day delayed gratification rule. Any non-essential purchase over $30 went on Elena's 30-day list, written down, dated, revisited in a month. This sounds almost too simple to work. It works almost too well. In the first 3 months, she wrote down 23 items. By their 30-day mark, she decided against 17 of them. 6 genuine needs remained, and she bought those thoughtfully. The items she didn't buy included a $79 air fryer accessory she'd seen advertised, a $55 decorative lamp, a jacket she'd considered essential, and multiple smaller items whose appeal simply evaporated with time. Total saved in year 1 from this rule alone, over $1,800. Pride and vulnerability. The house, the sell-first rule, and the walk she didn't take. July. Hot, heavy Midwest summer. Elena discovered a small water stain on the ceiling of the hallway bathroom. Any other year, she might have ignored it for another season, put a towel under it, told herself she'd deal with it later, let later quietly become too late. Instead, she had a calendar now, a home maintenance calendar, built in February that told her what to check and when. She caught the issue early, a small gap in the caulking around the tub surround, letting steam work its way into the ceiling structure. A $6 tube of caulk and 40 minutes of work fixed it. A contractor she called for a quote told her candidly that left another few months, it would have required $800 to $1,200 in ceiling repair and mold remediation.
She stood in that bathroom for a long moment after he left, feeling something she'd rarely felt in the past 5 years, ahead of something instead of behind it. Home maintenance calendar. Ruth's notebook had a section Elena called the house calendar, seasonal checks and maintenance tasks organized month by month. Clean dryer vents in January, check caulking in spring, service the furnace filter before winter, inspect roof seals in October. Elena digitized this into a simple phone calendar with reminders. The $6 caulk job was just the beginning. She also caught a slow drip, a failing weather seal on the front door, and an HVAC filter so clogged it was straining the motor. Total prevention cost, $40. Estimated repair cost, if ignored, over $2,000. Sell before you replace habit. Elena needed a new laptop for work. Her old one was slow, the battery dying, the keyboard sticking on 3 letters. Before buying, she listed the old laptop on Facebook Marketplace. It sold in 4 days for $95, more than she expected. That $95 came directly off the cost of a refurbished replacement. She applied the same principle to the kids' outgrown bikes, sold for $110, an old air purifier, sold for $45, and Maya's baby furniture in the basement, sold for $180. Total from selling before replacing in year 1, $430 in direct purchase offsets. The habit also kept her home from filling with redundant items. Walk or bike for short errands. Elena had been driving everywhere. The pharmacy 3 blocks away, the dry cleaner 6 blocks away, the small grocery run for forgotten items. She started walking or biking for anything within 1.5 miles. Gas savings were modest but real. What surprised her more was the time dividend. No parking, no circling, no sitting in drive-through lines. She also noticed she spent less on these trips when she'd walked because she could only carry what fit in her bag. That friction reduced the while I'm here spending significantly. Total estimate, including gas, impulse spending reduction, and wear and tear savings, $350 per year.